Hello. I think you should hear me now. Um, Let me know if you don't. I guess I'll do a small warm up before doing the prompts. I got a couple of prompts for drawing. Okay, great. Uh, I got a couple of prompts that I requested. But I think before we are going to draw the prompts, I will warm up a little bit, and I usually warm up drawing Hades because he's like my default me. He's a default character that I usually use to uh, warm up a little bit. No, I think everyone has the character that they use to just draw when they have nothing in mind. So yeah, for me it's probably Hades at the moment. Also, I was thinking about trying to stream this one in Paint to Say that I used like years ago. I think when I was a teen, and I was like, wow, I completely forgot about this program, and many people were still using it. So I was like, maybe I should try it out again, and like see how it goes. And even though it's okay, and I kind of remembered everything about this program, but I understood that I got too used to the pen control in different apps, so it isn't like as convenient for me as Clip Studio, for example. Even though I'm not using Clip Studio as much these days as Procreate, I also love drawing Persephone too, uh, but I think I genuinely think I feel more comfortable drawing like dudes. I think they're a little bit easier for me. But I also love drawing Persephone. I think because it's a simple and both looks and mind, yeah, well said. But actually I think it's because I think when you draw guys, you kind of can get around with the character looking more square, like not in the meaning that you cannot draw female characters who are square, but like often they they turn out to look not the way you want them to be, and like I mean, out of my problems, like when I was more of a beginner artist, I'm still not like a pro, I'm just a hobbyist. But when I was younger, people constantly been like telling how my girls didn't look really good because they look too much like the guys. So I'm like, I think I mentioned I genuinely just feel more comfortable while I draw guys. Like I'm in my comfort zone. Though to be honest, like for the past I think 6 years, I got more comfortable with drawing women. and I enjoy it like as much. But I don't know. I feel more free. um, but like yeah, it's a personal thing. I know that there are a lot of artists who have it like differently in terms of they really like drawing girls and women, but like struggle with drawing guys. Yeah, but like also also it's usually a little bit more tough when you see like women with sharper face features, um, but like again it's just about like the expectations, I guess, like, and how it looks like in the end. So right now I'm pretty comfortable with both, but like I understand that just on some subconsciously I think I feel more comfortable when I draw men, but it doesn't matter as much now. I think when I was younger it was like harder because like you kind of expect the shapes to be softer, and like it just doesn't look like a character at all. So I don't know, it's just for me. I really enjoy drawing Persephone, and I think one of the things that I enjoy in drawing her is that she has kind of sharper shapes. If you look at Amber, and I usually base my Persephone on Amber pretty pretty hard, same as with Hades. Um, if all men you draw look too much like women, I think it's a good thing to look up some tutorials or maybe do some reference drawings, because usually it helps a little bit to get a better grasp and to get more loose with that. I understand that like being more loose helped me drawing women, but also like maybe me liking Amber Gray helped me draw women better and get more comfortable with that, because like when you love a character you kind of want to draw them, and it makes you get out of the comfort zone. Clip Studio is hard. I can't figure it out. I wouldn't say that Clip Studio is this hard, but it is overwhelming. Like in comparison to some Procreate, for example, or I don't know, Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. I don't know what hype kids use these days to draw, apart from Procreate, obviously. Um, it just has a lot of features, and because of that, I think if you're a beginner, it's hard to navigate, but actually, it's pretty understandable once you get used to it a little bit. But I think like when you are going through in between the programs, I think the hardest part is like to get used to like brush pressure sensitivity settings and like stabilization and this kind of stuff, because it varies from program to program. And I saw a lot of people who were drawing, for example, in Paint to say, transferring to other programs like Photoshop or Clip Studio as well, and like not being able to properly drawing them, or like having a really hard time drawing in them um because they like they're not used to the pen pressure and stuff like that, and until you get comfortable with the pen pressure and with how the brush reacts to your like movements, the more comfortable you feel with the brush itself. Like I used to be super attached to to a certain stabilization settings, but right now I think I find that I get more comfortable when my brushes are less stabilized. Maybe I got a little bit better at keeping my hands in place. Okay, regarding the prompts, I think we can start drawing the prompts. Many people ask for lesbian Persephone. I heard your plea. I will deliver. I hope it would look good. I'm not promising anything. Do you use Clip Studio for animatic as well? Yeah, sometimes. But my last, I think, three animatics that I did, they were not from Clip Studio. They were actually done in ToonSquid. It's the app for iPad. I actually can really recommend it. Surprisingly, like I will tell my short story about ToonSquid. Maybe I was talking about it on some other stream, but genuinely, like my problem with drawing in Clip Studio Paint is like the animatics is that it's a good program. It's easy to animate there and do the animatics there. One moment, please don't like. Is the fact that like it kind of doesn't want to save my files. Not like it saves the files like the actual Clip Studio format, but exporting the files for some reason is super like complicated. Maybe because I don't have much like space on my drive or something like that. But each time when I try to import it in MT4, uh, it's like it's a struggle. It's a struggle. I'll say that. Uh, and it's kind of frustrating because like you would spend hours trying to like clean the disk space so it would save the file so you could uh, like post it somewhere. So it's frustrating. I guess the cure for that, as I learned lately with the last animatic I did in Clip Studio, was that you kind of can, I don't know, you can export it in other formats, and this way it will save it pretty well without any struggles. But a way to understanding that was kind of long and painful one. Um, regarding and also like I mentioned before, I mostly don't draw on PC right now because the PC is like I need to sit down and I have a very inconvenient workspace at the moment, like for drawing, and I wouldn't be able to sit down for too long. So I prefer drawing on the iPad because I can sit comfortably. I can lie down if I need to, and plus, like it's easier to keep the work going when it comes to the animatic because you can just draw a couple of frames, and to do that you don't need to um, like attach a lot of like wires to connect the tablet and like clean all your table space in order to be able to place the tablet. So like a lot of steps gets cut from this process, which makes it kind of more like a less like less demanding from my concentration, which is not really good. And I can actually spend this time drawing. So I prefer drawing on iPad right now, even though I think drawing in Clip Studio in terms of animatics, it might be more convenient because you have more control over like your drawing, and it's easier to just snap the frames, or just move them around. But actually, I used ToonSquid for a couple of my last animatics, and it was really good. Like, if you want an app that has a lot of functionality in terms of making animatics and that sort of content, or just like small animations, it has good brushes. It has understandable interface. Like, I usually have a lot of struggle with getting used to the new programs, but this one was super understandable. I didn't even need to look up any guides at all, which is something which is not something I can say really often. um, and like, it's just really easy, and it looks pretty good. Like, I wouldn't say that it's like flawless. I had a bit of trouble with that, but I think overall it's a good it's a good app. I generally think that when Procreate Dreams gets released, I will start using it for the animatics, because it was promoted so well, like in terms of how it's a revolutionary app that will be super convenient to use, that um, I don't know, the professional from from the industry will be using, and stuff like that. But I don't know, Procreate Dreams is kind of a flop. Like, I don't know if any of you used it, but like, I think it might become better in a couple of years, once they fix like the necessary stuff. For example, add the lasso tool that people keep asking them about for almost a year now. uh, and it might become like a better product, a more comfortable product to use. But so far, I don't know, if you want a more convenient app for animating or making animatics, and um, in Procreate, not in Procreate, on iPad, I think it's a pretty good one. But also, again, I'm not a professional in making the animatics. I'm not a professional at all. Like, I've been like looking at people making the animatics, and apparently they do it like all sort of different ways. And I don't think the way I do them is correct or convenient. I think sometimes it's not super logical. Hello. No, I cannot say that I really like. Um, Reinventing your art style as you're watching this. Well, I hope that's for the best. I don't know, kind of don't like. I'm gonna draw something else. I'm like, it's hard again. I usually when I draw, I don't think, and on stream I usually have to think. So let's draw something, a different idea. Maybe I'll continue the old one after that. I don't know. I constantly deny the rule that you need to sketch the idea first and then go for the details. But I'm not. I'm no professional. Well, at least that's what I've heard about needing to first sketch the like the poses and stuff, and then continue with the details because like it gives you a better picture. And I think it's a good practice for like traditional art because like it helps you understand if you messed up the proportions really badly because like when you are starting with drawing the details, you kind of might get too attached to the face you drew, for example, and you will and you will accidentally draw the other parts like not centered on the page, for example, or I don't know. Many things can go wrong. At least that's something that constantly happens with me when I do traditional art. But in general, in digital, since you can kind of transform the tools, it's a bit easier. So like if you did a really good face and then understood that it's too big, you can just size it. But in general, yeah, just like I usually like what is the most important for me is the expression, and then everything else. So I usually do the expression and then figure out the rest. My biggest art is red flags, thinking I can do very detailed art. Well, like as someone who's not, I don't like making a lot of details in my art. Like I know there are people who are super obsessed with adding details and stuff like that. I think it's not super essential, at least for me. Like I'm more of a minimalistic art kind of person. Like Looking at photos of Amber Green, there is never one that she's come. So true. So true. I appreciate that she's a little bit of a gremlin herself. As I say, she gives her Persephone the original weird girl energy, which we love to see. But to be honest, I should give it to Amber. She's like she's partially easier to draw because she does like with a lot of people and like when you're drawing female characters, sometimes it's hard to find like people like giving their like craziest expressions and like the more extreme the expression in my opinion it's more easier to understand like how the face works and like how the expressions with that face work. And I think with Amber it's great that you can easily look it up, which is great. Well, she's this is the reason she's easier to draw. Like you can easily reference her, which is great. Which is great. I love that. I'm going to do a horrible thing now, and we'll flip it horizontal because I don't like Persephone's face. Yes, I do think the streams are automatically added to the channel. At least I'm not deleting them. Like it. Maybe I should turn her face a little bit, not turn her head. I think it should work a bit better. I think it looks cuter. I think this one looks better, right? I think it looks a little bit more dynamic. I'm not sure if I will be coloring it today, so I think I'll go with a sketch. Though I kind of really like this one, so I might be seduced to color it later. I mean, red- redrawing stuff is okay. Like, you're the person who, like, you are drawing for yourself for the most part, right? So, like, if you are not happy with the drawing, it's normal to redraw than to be unhappy with that stuff. But also sometimes you redraw it and you kind of find a better idea. So also, since you are drawing mostly in digital, you can just save the previous version and then try to do a new stuff this way. Like, if you decide that the previous one was better, you can go back to it without any consequences. It's traditional, yeah. That's troublesome. Nah. Hinge is so annoying. Sharks are so annoying. The Hades game. I really loved the first one, but I didn't manage to play the second one yet. I downloaded it, but it didn't run on my computer for some reason. Maybe it's because it was a test version, but like I did everything and it still didn't work and I had to ask for a refund. So I was thinking that I probably gonna buy it when it comes out on Switch because it will run on Switch. But the first game, yeah, I really like this one. I played a good 30 hours out of it. Yeah, yeah, I got the refund. Like, I was buying it on Steam, so I wrote to them that like the work didn't work out. I don't understand why though. I think my PC runs up to like the minimal requirements that are needed, and I saw a couple of people on Hades forum having the same problem as me, but there were no like solutions. So maybe it's something about like the optimization in the app at the moment, since it's like um it's kind of like a preview version, so like it still has some issues that will be fixed before like release. Okay, one moment. All right, I'm back. But actually, in mythology themed games, like there is one game that I really like, and it's God of War. This one is like my favorite, but like Hades is like a close favorite of mine. I recommended it to a couple of people, and I think it's overall great. I can't wait to play the second part. I try to avoid the spoilers because I intend to play it. I think this one's it's all short. But God, the God of War, it's like the game for me. I played it so many times. But it's like the games that I really love. They are about Nordic mythology. But if you know anything about God of War, is that like it started as a Greek mythology series with Kratos, who basically killed most of the Greek pantheon, and his like quest for vengeance against gods. So you have like a couple of familiar faces showing up, but it also like it also got a pretty well received like sequels for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 that I really really love. It's like what's the first time where I played the game and I was like, God, that's the game. Like I wish I could erase my memory and played it again because it's really touching. It's really well made. It's really pretty and like the characters are great. I'd say that even if you don't have like a PlayStation or like PC to run it, I would say it's still worth watching it on a Let's Play because I think the big part about this game is the story and how engaging it is. Because like it's basically the story of a father and son who barely know each other because the father has a pretty dark past about killing the entirety of Greek pantheon that he doesn't want his son to know uh, because like he's a god as well and he doesn't want his son to know that he is a god and that he has done horrible things in the past because he's afraid that if his son is a god as well, like for him being god is like something that is connected to suffering, manipulation, and like um unhappiness overall, and he doesn't want it for this for his kid, but he's also like super emotionally unavailable as a father. And so like the main plot is about them going on a huge quest because his wife and the boy's mother, she dies, and as her last will, she asks them to spread her ashes from the highest peak of the realm. So they are forced into this quest and adventure to fulfill her will, and it's really really touching. It's really good, and it's really engaging. And then it has like the Ragnarok. The next game is about Ragnarok, and again with the same set of characters, and it's really really great. So, like, if you want a great story and like engaging characters, and you are not afraid of looking at game let's plays or like playing it yourself, I like highly recommend it. It's such a great experience. And also like the music is awesome. I don't know, just like my favorite game. I can speak about it for hours. I've been recently replaying the first one again. As a nerd, I am, and I found so many references to what they did in the second part, which is really great because you can see that there were like a lot of efforts and a lot of love put into this thing, and people were really wanting it to be a great project. So yeah, um, yeah, I have to like give people the ad of my favorite things on my streams. Otherwise, I'm not. The stream is not done correctly. But yeah, it's an awesome one. Like treat yourself at experiencing it for the first time. Also, like for the people who are reading Naso, I think Kratos in those Northern sequels is very Naso Hades coded. But it's like God. Sometimes I play this game and I think like, oh my God, if Naso Hades had a PlayStation 5 and he had to play it, he would find this experience so relatable because he's also a horrible gremlin. uh, but also, what is funny about God of War games, like the last ones, is that it's really a therapy. The game, like it's not even funny. Each time I replay it, I'm like, yeah, that's about therapy. Hmm. I think it turns out pretty cute. Why do I say it's like therapy? Well, like if you watch it or if you play it, you will understand why it's a therapy. But like I think because it is really trauma centric and like it's about Kratos trying to um get like get accepting of his past in order to become a better person now and to become a better parent to his son whom like he's kind of afraid of because he doesn't want his bad influence on him, so it's really interesting. And also because like the last DLC they released, which is Valhalla, is literally Kratos, like for your understanding, it's a roguelike. So same as Hades. So basically, you start from ground zero, and then you work your way up, and you fight the enemies, and then you get a little bit of story in the end of your run and throughout your run. So this DLC is kind of like a roguelike. And in this roguelike, Kratos is basically like, to not get any spoilers in case you want to watch it. Um, Kratos tries to like like tries to understand his motivation throughout the series and understand that he's like he probably like should concentrate on not like beating himself up for being a bad person in the past, but like do his best to like accept his bad past and the fact that he was a bad and ignorant person, but he can do so much better being like he can help, he can use his power to actually help people and to bring the peace into the realm. So it's like he's like fighting against himself. So it's a little bit like therapy in my opinion. But it's like it's a deeply touching game. I really loved. Okay, let's do some other sketch. Okay, I need to check the inbox. Mm. There was something about Persephone in her pajamas. I don't know. I guess we can draw that. I don't think this will be a great drawing, but like. Oh, also about God of War being a therapy. I think a big part of this series, or like the last two games, is about like accepting grief. So, like the first game is basically like the main characters trying to work together while they kind of dealing with loss. So it's also interesting. It's not a spoiler territory. I'm as I've said, like the whole setup of the game is that like his wife and the boy's mother died and asked them to spread her ashes to from the highest peak of the realms. So it's like the first 5 minutes of the game. So they're going on an adventure and they're kind of dealing with the fact that she died. But like there are a lot of mysteries. So I just advise you to watch the Let's Plays. Like it is likely that if you have a favorite Let's Player, they probably played this game. I think you can buy Hades 2 on Steam already, unless you want to buy it for other platform. Someone asked to draw Persephone in her pajamas and said something about how her pajamas can be Hades' shirt, which I like as an idea. I think she's just annoyed he isn't sleeping at 3 a.m. And he should be. He should be. To be honest, one of my favorite Vanessa things is that Vanessa Hades doesn't sleep, or almost doesn't sleep. What a nerd. It's funny to think that Hades is having zoomies. He's just like, he cannot sleep. The zoomies, I say, as I see this old man work 24/7. Wrong crush. Hello. Big wardrobe, a very small selection of clothes. I don't know. It's hard to think, but I think he is a little bit of he has interest in fashion, I think, because I think he wants to have like the best clothes to look cool for Persephone. Like he probably would arrive up top, like would order some fashion magazines to know what's in women fashion to buy Persephone some like some chic, cool stuff, like the hottest thing in town right now. And for himself, like I do think he has some sort of like um preferences, but I do think I think he keeps to the same style, like visually, but I do think he follows the trends to be like to look hot for Persephone. So I don't know. Okay. Hello. We sent Hermes and Persephone. Um, mm, it will be tough because I'm not used to drawing either of them, so it will be a disaster. I actually saw hadestown bested 3 times already. But so far I didn't manage to catch glorious Persephone. Yeah, yeah, it would be fine. I think I can try, but I need to check the references. Oh wait, I draw Mel, but it was only once, so yeah, right. I can see you. What's up? No. Oh no, no, you're not shadow banned. I can see you. I just think you were talking to to cosmic. So, but yeah, I can see your messages, but YouTube sometimes can be crazy. I need to find. I need to find a picture of Mel from the side. It's like Mel and her Persephones are so cute. To be honest, like, in some ways, like again, I watched Hadestown 3 times, and I think it worked like fully for me this last time that I saw it. And the previous like times, maybe it was because like it was the Lauren the understudy's first performances. She was great, like she's awesome. But it felt a little bit like her Persephone like lacked dynamic with Zach Hades. Like she seemed really disappointed in her, which is like a normal take for Hades, for Persephone to be pissed at Hades. But I think in the end, it didn't seem to me like I want their relationship to work out. And I think the goal of Hades Town is making you want that. So, hello. No, I'm not talking about Lore Olympus, but I'm talking about Hades Town, which is also about Greek gods. So, like for me, when I was watching West End, it seemed to me that with some Persephone's, Hermes actually had more like dynamic and could be more romanceable than Hades. So I was like, well. Plus, I think Melanie said something like how her Hermes was in love with Persephone, but kind of had to step down because Persephone got married to Hades. So, but Melanie Hermes is she's so cute. She's adorable, so gentle and awesome. They do like each other. I do think they like each other. Like again, I think with Lauren, I was like, well, dear, why do you need Hades when you have such an awesome Hermes right there? Like with other productions, for me, uh, like Hermes is the gay best friend to Persephone, so I never like see them uh like in a romantic relationship. But with Mel, like I would understand that, you know. Does seem like a suitable pair. The Watchmen, do you mean like Terry Pratchett Watchmen or other Watchmen? Mm. No, no, I haven't read those. Oh, so Melanie is so nice because I managed to go to the stage door the first time I saw Hadestown in the UK, and I managed to get her the drawing of her Hermes, and she was so lovely. And she told me that it was like the first picture of her Hermes that she has gotten. So, and she recorded this a really sweet little video where she shows this drawing. It's really adorable. Draw Persephone in Big Tesco. Maybe you should. You know, IKEA, AU, Tesco, AU. Oh, actually, she turned out pretty cute. I, I think she even looks like Mel a bit. Dark stories or not dark stories. It it depends on it depends on like the content. Like I love darker stories. So Kind of same. Like, I'm not super into like bloody topics and stuff like that, but I love complicated stories. Mm. Uh, it's kind of hard. Let's not talk about that kind of stuff. We were talking about whether we like the dark stories or not, but let's not talk about it so the stream wouldn't get like taken down by the YouTube police. Well, Hermes I at least drew one time, so I have a little bit of practice drawing her, and she turns out well. But I don't think I drew Resha Persephone before, so Hello. Who is tired? No. Persephone, no, she isn't tired. Thanks. I'm not super sleepy, but I think maybe I'll finish this sketch and I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you. I'm trying to do better with hair. teach you how to draw hair. To be honest, I'm not probably the best teacher, but in general, I think what helps me when I draw hair is to try to understand where it goes. Basically, like you need to understand the direction and like sometimes break the hair in some main section because usually I'm applying the color and it's um maybe it would look good colored, I think. um I think with hair what I see a lot of uh beginner artists do is that they kind of try to do it like this, like without understanding the direction of where the hair goes, when it actually much easier to shape it when you break it down on some simple shapes and then add some details. With Persephone's hair, I just tried to add a little more texturing so it would look curly in a way I want it to look curly. So my voice is calming. It's calming because I have a sleepy voice. I kind of want to color it, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I do it on this stream. Maybe I'll start. Usually, coloring is pretty fast in general. I think I'll stream for about like half an hour, and if we manage to color it, then we'll manage. I just usually color my drawings in a very basic way. Like I usually do the base colors and then I slap some multiply layer on top of it, so it kind of looks better than it actually is. So like if you need a super quick coloring, this is something that you can go with. Okay, it looks cute. Okay, we have a little bit of time to color it. I usually start with filling in the base because it will make attaching the layers kind of easier. I would just choose some random color. Just because like when you are making the color layer, you can then attach all the other layers to this color layer that I'll show you. And this way, since all the layers are pinned to that layer, you will have an easier time shading it and like coloring it. Usually, let's say, let's say that usually it works. Um, so you kind of can start coloring without this extra layer. Just find it easier, because if you decide to change the background color, for example, you will be more or less sure that you won't get the spaces um, in the drawing that are not properly colored. Yay. Here, now I will do another layer for basic colors, and I will need to check the references for them. Ciao. Hello. To get their colors more or less closer. Where is the color wheel? Yeah. I usually go a little bit lighter, because usually I would also drop the next layer as a multiply layer, and it becomes darker. You can check. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I think Melanie and Russia, they have kind of the same, seemingly the same undertone. Maybe Mel's is a little bit on the orangey side, like at least from what I see in the reference photo. Oh, ciao Italia. Okay. And I usually drop all the colors on the same layer, because usually it's easier to edit it later. I used to have all my colors on separate layers, like many people do, but usually it will end up making you confused about the layers. At least this is what usually happens to me. I get confused in the layers, and it's much easier to edit the colors in case you don't like the skin color, for example, or like the clothes color, and you want to change it. It's easier to do from one layer. At least for me, obviously you can do it on layer, but I think it requires the degree of attention that I don't have. uh, like some people, they name the layers. I cannot do that because because it's too much of a bother for me. And plus, maybe I got used to it because in Procreate there is a layer limit, so you kind of better work with less layers if you don't want to get stuck in the middle of your painting. Okay, and her. She has like silver hair. I don't. I usually try not to do hair like Hermes hair, Hades hair, plain white, because usually it doesn't look super good. So I would choose some grayish color. I usually try not to use in general like pure whites, because sometimes it might be a little bit distracting. But again, it kind of depends. Okay, this is for the teeth. Because like even not the purest white will look whiter in some situation depending on which colors they're surrounded with. Okay. She has darker hair, but I think the hair of each Persephone kind of goes into the gradients the lower it gets. And also she has some braids that will give some color variety, and it will look pretty. I will color it in plain color, and then I will add more details, I think, on another layer. But I think I will be adding details with the softer brush. The one that I'm using for coloring at the moment is a hard brush, with no difference in opacity, which I usually do, so I would know that I have a solid color to work on. Again, in case you will need to um, change the background color or something like that. And I will go with her green dress. Different shade of green, warmer one. Too saturated. Yeah, I think this one maybe. Doesn't look clear. I'm not sure I'm satisfied with that. Is that green? Maybe it's a little bit too cold. Yeah, maybe this one's better. And Mel has darker kind of lipstick. Like like this, so it goes along with her silvery coat. Okay, we got the bases color, the base colors down. So I think we can add some details before going to the multiply. I will probably take this pencil or a lighter pencil because it will be just softer and it will create softer feeling on the hair. And I'll check the reference. I think some of the braids they're like whiter. Thank you. Thank you very much. They're kind of whiter, but maybe they also like look a little bit yellowish. I also forgot to give Persephone. And her hair kind of goes a little bit reddish here, so we can add a little bit of red. But just like a bit, and then I think I will um I will smooth it a little bit so it wouldn't be as hard. Okay, I checked another reference, so she has like more orangey kind of braids there and there, so we can add that to the hair, so it would look a little bit different and more interesting. And we can darker some of the areas as well. Just to add a little bit of volume. I'm just trying to give a little bit of dimension, but not over overwork it. Because like if you have some area that is overworked on the sketch might look a little bit weird. Okay, and a little bit with Hermes hair. Though I think like it has a better volume already. And with Hermes, she has some patterns on her suit, so we can add those to make it a little bit more finished looking when it isn't actually like finished at all. And I'm not planning on like super finishing it, and it being super polished. So we would add I would add those patterns. Thank you. I don't know who Paul Evans is. Thank you. Have have a great day, you too. And I'll add a little bit of patterns to Persephone's dress, I guess, and or maybe not. Maybe not. Depends whether I like it or not. Maybe just a bit. Looks like all Disney. Yeah, I would say my style looks a little bit like all Disney. I'll just do it to add a bit of texture again. And I think I'll also do the skin color to get a little bit of variety there. But I'll probably do it on a different layer. Mm. Or maybe we'll just do it with the multiply layer. Thank you so much. Oh, also, they have a makeup, both of them. So for Mel, I can clearly see that she has those bluish kind of makeup. So I can actually add it to make it seem like she has a makeup. And I would water it down a little bit. And erase a little bit. Let me check. Okay, with Rush Persephone, I don't see like I don't see her having like a big like makeup and some eyeshadow, so I will leave it as it is. I guess I'll do another layer. And I would usually do a little bit more color, a little bit of a darker color on the nose, because usually people have like since like these have more blood, and these areas like the cheeks and the nose have more blood, you can usually do them a little bit darker. and it would look natural. So I would make them a little bit darker. Same about the ears, by the way. At least it's a small tip that I learned from someone. So this way the face kind of looks more alive. You know. Okay, it looks good. It looks good so far, I think. Now we can add some proper shadows. Again, I usually do it in multiply mode, just because it's easier. I will turn on multiply and I would pick maybe this color. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which brush would work better. Um, usually I do some strong, like harder brush and harder shadows, because I think they're easier to balance out, to not get them too blurry. But we'll see what works. Okay, maybe a bit too red. I just I'll just drop a little bits of different shadow shades to see which one would look better. Maybe a bit lighter. But purple usually is a go-to color when it comes to that. Mm. Mm. Or maybe we'll do a little bit this time. Did you use reference? I used reference for the actors, since I want the drawing to look like them. So I opened a couple of pictures of them just to see like their facial traits. So yeah, I do use reference for the poses. For this particular pose, no, I wouldn't say so. Not exactly. Mostly not. But in general, it's a good thing to use references to save you from a lot of mistakes. But sometimes I get lazy and I don't use them. But usually, since these are the actors that I haven't drawn yet, or at least I haven't drawn much, um, I need to use reference, because otherwise they won't look like themselves. When these are the characters that I know well and I draw for a lot of time, obviously I can do it without reference because I have the experience, but with them. But I think they look pretty much like themselves, which is good. It's more than I've expected, and my expectations were pretty low. But in general, it's great using references. Here, with this, I didn't have the time to break down those characters because the request was pretty random. And but usually, when I want to draw some actor in the role, or if I'm planning to draw some character based on a certain person, I would try to break down the reference first, just to understand like what are their basic um, facial traits, like, and how they combined would give you a recognizable persona. Um, because sometimes you need to first figure out what is it about this person's like face and shapes that make them easily recognizable, and then you can break those shapes, and like you can see those shapes more clearly, and then you can use them to draw this character from different angles more consistently. I'm not the most consistent type of artist, but like it helps a lot. um no problem. I hope it helps. Okay, I think another trick that we can try is to color the sketch a little bit. I will duplicate layer because I have anxiety. Uh, so, like, in case I don't like the results, I will be able to go back and use and use the black one. I'm sorry, I've been talking a lot. Um, but sometimes it can make the art look slightly different, or sometimes like more softer, I would say. Sometimes not though. I usually save the black version, like with the black line art, in case coloring the line art makes the contrast bad. But usually the difference is like minimum, but sometimes it looks a little bit better and cuter. And who are we to say no to that? Oh, it looks pretty good. I think. Um, but like, yeah, the difference is kind of minimum. We can add a little bit of light here as well, but I don't always do that. I think sometimes it's not super necessary. But like the biggest life hack is usually adding yellowish light. It makes the work look better, in my opinion. But like it's super basic. But yeah, it's my favorite chip trick to make sketches look better. And then I think we can add it in overlay or soft light, hard lights. No, I think with overlay it would be better. Overlay just kind of makes it more vibrant, lighter and more vibrant. So it gives a nice feeling of glow. So sometimes you can use it to add some highlights. Or maybe not, maybe I won't like it. I think we need to. Welcome back. uh yeah, it should be saved automatically, hopefully. So I'm hoping that it will remain. I'm not planning to delete it. But like I usually don't delete live streams. One of my live streams was like blocked by YouTube because I accidentally like turned on copyrighted music. So don't be an idiot and never play the Beatles. But it was on accident. I was just listening to a playlist and turned it on. So this is the one stream that isn't available, but the rest, yeah, I would leave it. So no. No, the difference is not big. Have you ever used other apps besides Clip Studio, like Procreate and Ibispaint? Yeah, Procreate, I constantly use it. I use it all the time for most of my art. As I've said, it's more convenient for me usually to draw on tablets. So yeah, I would use Procreate, and it's my go-to app when it comes to sketching. Because to use Clip Studio, I need to turn on the computer to connect stuff, and usually it kind of kills the joy from drawing for me. Out of other apps that I've used, like, I wouldn't say that I used a lot of apps for a long time. Like, Clip Studio is probably one of the apps that I used the most, as well as Procreate. I think I'm using Procreate about 2 years. Clip Studio Paint, I think, like 4 or 5 years, maybe. I also use not Clip Studio, Paint Tool, say, for a long time before I switched to Clip Studio. I basically bought Clip Studio and decided to force myself to work in it instead, since I paid money for it. And I kind of stopped drawing in Paint also because I got used to Clip Studio. I tried Autodesk Sketchbook once for a bit, but I would say that, like, it's an easy app to use, but not exactly the one I super enjoyed. So I didn't use it long term, but it's a nice app. Ibis Paint, I don't think I've used it like ever. But again, I usually prefer to stick to one app. I would probably use Clip Studio on iPad as well, but it has like a paid subscription, and I don't want to pay monthly subscription for a program that I already own. So I'm like if it would allow me to use the same license I paid for on both devices, it would have been a different business. But also, I tried it on the trial period on iPad when I got it, and I was like, no, I'm not super used to, like, in my version of Clip Studio, I kind of already set up all the brushes to be comfortable for me to use, and it's kind of tricky to set up everything again, and it's a lot of time, and I tried it out, and it wasn't convenient, so I don't know. Okay, I think it looks pretty good, and it looks pretty finished. So, how long has it been? Okay, I think we streamed for about 2 hours and a half. Yeah, as I more or less planned, and we did even more than I planned. So, thank you for coming. It was lovely to chat with you. There were so many of you today as well. which was great. Thank you guys. Have a lovely day.